so I never thought I'd be making a movie review. But here we are. Evil Dead is a franchise I've followed since I was about 10 or 12 years old. This series means something to me, so when they drop another installment, I'm going to speak on it, whether people want to hear it or not. Before we tear into Burn, let me establish my history by ranking the entire franchise from best to worst. Army of Darkness, 1992, 10 out of 10. Perfect film. It was actually my first Evil Dead experience. Watched at a friend's house when I was way too young. That movie hooked me instantly. Evil Dead 2 from 1987 gets a solid 9 out of 10. The perfect blend of horror and comedy. Now, the original Evil Dead from 1981, I give it an 8 out of 10, and here's why that score matters for what I'm about to say next. Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert were asked about the confusing ending between the first two films. Raimi admitted, "Me and Rob agreed that the Evil Dead ending effectively closed the book on future films, so we decided to ignore it entirely. That means the 1981 film isn't canon. Whatever happened there got retconned." The 2013 Evil Dead remake, solid 9 out of 10. Why? Because it was the last time Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, and Rob Tappert were all involved together. Bruce Campbell made it clear after 2013 he was ready to pass the torch. That movie marked the end of his involvement, and honestly, the end of the series having any real legitimacy. Evil Dead Rise from 2023, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Lee Cronin understood the assignment. He got the feel right, the action right, and actually delivered character development that worked on screen. It wasn't perfect, but it respected the franchise. But now we get into Evil Dead Burn, directed by Sebastian Vanecek. And before we continue, just know I am going to spoil the movie really bad, so if you are wanting to see it, go see it now, then come back and finish the video. This continuation of Evil Dead Rise, which you don't learn about until after the credits roll for a bit and secret scenes play. It started out really good, but at 48 minutes into the film is when I start to get really angry, and progressively got even worse the more I watched. Sebastian Vanecek created some of the most cowardly, retarded, and weak characters you could ever imagine. So apparently after the dog's killed by the father of the family, the girlfriend of the brother, who got burnt up in the car, comes in covered in blood saying that the previously dead dog from no more than 15 minutes ago attacked her while covered in blood. The mother just says, "I don't understand you." And even after the last son of the mother comes running in and saying his father just murdered his girlfriend after killing their dog, isn't enough to shake them fucking awake. They remain like a big-eyed, innocent baby deer throughout the entire movie, asking, "What? Huh? I don't understand." It's fucking exhausting. There's plenty of fighting and shit, but again, we're dealing with Sebastian Vanecek, whose retarded idea was to plant the title of the movie Burn multiple times into the movie. The car catches fire, the funeral home catches fire, house catches fire. It's repeated over and over again. It's literally dog shit, because anyone who knows good films that the first time you do that should be the last. Then, every single time one of these characters actually has a chance to do something or save somebody, they just stand there crying, screaming, or holding a weapon while they watch someone die. What the actual fuck? You would think watching one of your own family members getting strangled or butchered right in front of you would be enough to kick your ass into gear and at the very least try to stop whatever the hell is happening. But no. What do all of these characters do? They freeze. Every single time. They stand there with a shotgun, an axe, a shovel, or whatever weapon the movie decided to put in their hands. Instead of using it, they just stare while someone else gets ripped apart. It is not suspense. It is not emotional. It is just frustrating. After the third or fourth time it happens, I stopped feeling bad for these people because they refuse to act even when the movie handed them every opportunity to save each other. They just stand there and watch. Then they cry. Then they wait until it is too late before finally deciding to react. It happens over and over again until it becomes predictable. That is not good writing. That is the plot making every character unbelievably stupid because otherwise the movie would be over in 20 minutes. Instead of rooting for them to survive, I found myself wondering how they had managed to stay alive this long in the first place. Then nearing the end of the fucking movie, the mother takes the grandmother to bed, who has dementia. The grandmother asks her to check under the bed to make sure no monsters are hiding, and when the mother goes to leave, the grandmother suddenly calls her by her real name. This leads to the mother turning around and seeing her one-legged grandmother, a woman who cannot even move around without her prosthetic leg or wheelchair, standing on her bed with a sheet covering her entire body, looking like some stupid fucking cartoon ghost. Even when she removes the sheet and sees her grandmother has black veins and yellow eyes, she doesn't snap out of her retard spell, and instead approaches the window where the father of the family is waiting outside of the window and just says, "I miss you so much." And apparently that's enough for this retarded bitch to open the window and proceed to make out with the very obviously dead father of the family, who, mind you, has about 4 gunshot wounds to the head that he inflicted upon himself. There is no hesitation, no moment of realizing something is wrong, just complete stupidity. And because of that decision, the mother gets infected and becomes one of the Deadites. Then, of course, at the end of the fucking movie, the girl boss Queenslay arc begins. I'm so sick of this shit where movies and games I grew up with are being replaced by the same big, strong, independent feminist character trope. A character who spent the entire movie being just as much of a coward as everyone else suddenly becomes unstoppable because the plot decides it is time for her power moment. Once the abusive boyfriend comes back, completely burned up and transformed into a Deadite, apparently the memories of her abuse are enough to instantly turn her into some demon man slaying warrior. The same character, who spent most of the movie frozen and helpless, suddenly has all the skill and strength needed to take him down. She defeats him in one of the dumbest ways possible. Suddenly, this woman is strong enough to two-hand lift a full-size jackhammer above her chest and use it as a weapon, driving it straight into the Deadite version of her abusive ex. Then, she finishes him off with a dagger that sends Deadites back to hell, and just like that, the movie is over. Credits roll, but then we get one final scene. The grandmother, who is still a Deadite, is shown as the last surviving Deadite from that night. She crawls away, finds another victim, and infects the driver of a car that stopped nearby. Then, as the credits continue, we see the main Deadite from Evil Dead Rise return as a mirror image of one of her daughters she never got to kill. Shockingly, they actually let the scene go further than expected. You see the child's head slammed back and her neck nearly torn apart. That scene, along with the dog scene earlier in the movie, were honestly the only 2 moments that actually shocked me or disturbed me. It is a shame because this is a franchise that had so much potential. Evil Dead has always been violent, ridiculous, and over the top, but it also understood what made these movies work. Unfortunately, this film feels like it forgot what made the series special and replaced it with modern writing trends that completely miss the point. I can only hope Evil Dead Wrath coming out in 2028 is better than this flaming pile of dog shit. But we will have to wait and see if Francis Galuppi can actually deliver something worthy of the franchise, and whether Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert continue down the path of making more disappointing Evil Dead movies. Because, honestly, this is the first and only Evil Dead film that I would actually call a truly bad movie in the Evil Dead movie series. And if the next one is bad, then all that follow will also be bad. So at that point, I'd say it would be time to sell the IP to someone who isn't retarded. Have a nice day.